Hello, my name is Nicole, and today I'm excited to talk to you a little bit about personal protective equipment and the disinfecting measures we use when working with people who may have communicable diseases like COVID-19. On our way to a call, we begin considering what we will use for personal protective equipment on that call. Gowns are a form of personal protective equipment. Currently, we do not use gowns on every call. We use them along with aerosolized procedures, such as nebulizer treatments, with close body contact or prolonged patient contact, or with lab-confirmed cases of a communicable disease. We also use them when disinfecting, cleaning, or handling waste. In this case, my friend Nick, the paramedic, has chosen to don a gown as part of his personal protective equipment. After donning his gown, he will also don gloves. We use the term don to mean putting on. If you watch closely as paramedic Nick is donning his gloves, you will notice that he pulls the gloves up so they're covering the sleeve of his gown. Once paramedic Nick has finished donning his gloves, he will don his N95 respirator. Respirators are different from surgical masks. They create a seal against the face, and they protect their wearers from airborne particles. In particular, N95 masks protect their wearers from 95% of the particles in the air. Next, he will don his face shield. This protects his eyes and his face from splashes. You will notice that Nick and his partner Amanda are wearing the same personal protective equipment, and that they have placed a mask on their patient. You will also notice that as they climb into the ambulance, they avoid touching anything. When they do decide to close the doors, they are very careful to make sure that they only touch the handles of the doors. Although we disinfect the entire ambulance, we do our best to minimize the amount of surfaces we touch. Nick and Amanda will both continue wearing their personal protective equipment while performing pre-hospital care on their patient. They may momentarily have to remove their patient's mask in order to provide care. Per our protocols, we make sure to take a temperature on every patient. Once Amanda has finished helping her partner with pre-hospital care, she will begin the process of doffing or taking off some of her personal protective equipment. As you can see, she begins with her gown by pulling it away from her to break the tie, then rolling it down and away from her slowly into a ball. That way, the microbes are trapped in the gown rather than getting on her clothes or her hands. She also carefully removes her gloves, ensuring that her hands do not come into contact with any contaminated surface. Then, she disposes of them in the trash can, puts lots of hand sanitizer onto her hands, and rubs them together, washing them and sanitizing them for at least 20 seconds. Once she has thoroughly sanitized her hands, she will begin donning another pair of gloves. She is still wearing some PPE that may be contaminated. She puts on the gloves in order to avoid her skin coming into contact with potentially contaminated surfaces. Once her gloves are on, she will begin removing her face shield using the strap at the back of the head. Then, she will use an EPA-approved sanitizer in order to thoroughly and completely clean her face shield. Once the face shield is disinfected, she will put it away for future use. Amanda discards her gloves as she did before, and then washes her hands with plenty of hand sanitizer for at least 20 seconds. Amanda continues to wear her respirator as she drives the patient and her partner to the hospital. Upon arrival, Amanda will don her PPE again before making any patient contact or opening the doors to the back of the ambulance. You will notice that Amanda is careful to only touch the handles, and as Nick is exiting the ambulance, he does not touch anything. After Nick and Amanda take the patient into the hospital and the patient has been safely transferred, they will both doff their PPE. Before starting this video, we used a product called GermGlow on our patient. You can see the areas that are heavily lighted under the black light. These are areas that would, if this were a real scenario, contain germs or microbes. You can see that there are some on Nick's gown, mask, and even on his pants. You can see the germs on his gloves as he passes the black light over them. You can also see where GermGlow is on the seats as he passes the light over it, and on the handlebars where he and Amanda touched as they were getting in and out of the ambulance and opening and shutting the ambulance doors. You can also see where the GermGlow is on Amanda's gown and on her gloves. As we take a look at our patient to see where we find GermGlow, you'll notice why our patients wear masks. You can see, as we take the black light over the mask, it contains a lot of GermGlow, which means it would also contain a lot of microbes. Only one person cleans the ambulance. In this case, it's Nick. Nick dons his full personal protective equipment and then begins cleaning the ambulance at the front. He's careful to make sure that all commonly touched surfaces get extra clean. This includes all of the handles that Nick and Amanda were touching as they got in and out of the ambulance or opened and closed doors. Every surface in the ambulance gets cleaned. Nick is also careful, as he's cleaning the stretcher, to fold up the sheets into a ball and to try not to aerosolize anything from the sheets. The sheets go into the trash can, even though we don't throw them away. Nick is careful to wipe down every single surface on the stretcher, including the seat belts. Then, he doffs his PPE and makes sure to wash his hands for at least 20 seconds. Let's see how effective the personal protective equipment was on Nick. You can see as he passes the black light over himself, nothing glows. You'll also notice that all of the commonly touched surfaces in the ambulance and the commonly used areas are also free of GermGlow. When Nick passes the black light over the stretcher, you can see that there are no germs remaining on any of the seat belts or anywhere on the stretcher. Thank you so much for joining us today to learn about personal protective equipment and disinfecting. Please be sure to check out our other disinfecting videos and other available videos online.